Okay, so if we want to keep temperatures to 2 degrees, that means a whole bunch of bleached coral, possibility of no more Maldives, and a whole bunch of other impacts. What we've got to do is limit the total amount of carbon that we put up into the atmosphere to 1 trillion tons. Now you're probably thinking, 1 trillion tons, that sounds like an awful lot of carbon. Yes and no. So let's assume that 1 pint glass here represents 1 trillion tons of atmospheric space. So if we fill this up with carbon, then we're going to hit 2 degrees. So to date, no, was that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, I was worried I was stealing some drink there. Okay, so to date, this is kind of Industrial Revolution, 1800s, kind of 1900s, and we really started to churn out carbon fast. 1950, and then this is about where we are today, halfway up. And so we've emitted about 500 billion tons to date. And so you could say, oh wow, well, you know, it's not a big problem. The thing is that the amount of carbon we're putting into the atmosphere, the amount of beer we're pouring into this glass is increasing at an ever faster rate. It's just going up and up and up and up. And even if we were to reduce emissions really fast by about the most that's technologically feasible today, we'd stop at pretty much the top of this glass, 2 degrees. Now you've got to think about, well, how much carbon is there underground? You know, like that's obviously going to be a limit, surely. So if you take the total oil and gas reserves, proven oil and gas reserves underground, you're talking about the rest of this glass. So if we burn all our oil and gas, then we're talking about 2 degrees of warming, 1 trillion tons, okay? Now, let's get coal involved, okay? So there's about another 2 trillion tons of coal trapped underground that people around the world are digging up and burning. If we burn that coal, we're talking about another 2 trillion tons going up into the atmosphere. So you're talking about, if this is 2 degrees, this is going to be a whole lot more. But now, if you go and you next pull out your kind of unconventional reserves of fossil fuels, so these are the tar sands, these are kind of a fossil fuel resource up in Canada that people are digging up, and it's reasonably inefficient compared with oil or gas or anything like that. So if you include the tar sands, and then if you go and include natural gas fracking, which the government's just said that they're going to allow in Blackpool until it started causing some problems, and they said, actually, hold on, there might be some problems associated with this. Anyway, if you include all of that, you're talking about another couple pint glasses of carbon trapped underground. So if this was your 2 degrees, this is your kind of 4, 5, 6 degrees, I don't even want to say where we're going if we go up here. But that's where we're headed if we continue digging up tar sands, and if we continue natural gas fracking and the kind of new exploration that's going on to tap into fossil fuel reserves that have yet to be kind of exploited and tapped into.